Hello, I'm Michael Hainsworth. Welcome to Market Call. David Burrows is here. He is the President and Chief Investment Strategist at Barometer Capital Management. He's getting ready to take your calls, emails, tweets, video questions, perhaps, on North American large caps. You can call us toll-free, 1-855-326-6266. You can email marketcall@bnn.ca or follow us on Twitter. Video questions, too, if you film one, and we can answer your question. We'll put you to the front of the line as per Andrew Bell's instructions before he left for vacation. David, welcome back.
Great to be here.
So in this environment, are you the only one in the shop? Is there anybody working today?
It's interesting. We've been very busy this summer. We're in a pretty good market, and when you're in a decent market, you want to be able to take advantage of it. And I think that there's a lot of people who question whether the market should be as strong as it is. I think there's a lot of people who are not as engaged as they should be. But the sun shines from time to time, and you need to take advantage of it when it does.
What of the suggestion that the valuations of the S&P 500, while historically normal for about where we are right now, really have only been driven by 7 key technology stocks, and therefore you got 497 others that you could possibly be buying that are undervalued?
Right. So we're in a really interesting market for a couple of reasons. First of all, correlations stock to stock and sector to sector, the degree the way they behave the same, is very low. So there are some really strong long-term themes that you can focus in this market. Some of them involve some of those companies you mentioned, but there's lots of other things to do as well. When you consider how much of the return is coming from the top 10 stocks, it's actually not high. It's been much higher in the past at certain points in time. So there's lots of opportunity in this market. There's some sectors you absolutely have to be avoiding. So you don't want to own the indices, I don't think. So
a basket of stocks. You don't want to own a tracker of any given index.
Well, you can own ETFs that target specific themes and sectors, which we'll talk about today. But we are in a world where active management works much better, I believe, than passive, which is contrary to the world we were in sort of between 2000 and 2013, where correlations were very high. And it was just about having positions when the market was good.
So sector-wise, what would you avoid at this point?
So on the negative side, I think you continue to have to be careful of some of the big sectors in the Canadian market. Right? I still think you have to be careful of energy, as weak as it's been. You could get a tactical trade any time, but still it looks very weak. I think we have to be careful of retail and certain parts of the consumer. I think that we have to be careful of some of the defensive sectors that could be at risk if, as we believe, long-term rates slowly move higher.
Sectorally speaking, what do you like in a rising interest rate environment? Is it the
banks?
banks?
So obviously, long-term, I think a 5-year theme for us is banks, more specifically U.S. than Canada. We've said that for quite some time. And I think that you want to be focused in industrials that do well in improving capital spending. Obviously, technology is the 800-pound gorilla, and there's 4 or 5 key long-term themes there. I think that you want to have some exposure to healthcare because demographics are driving things. Those would sort of be the key groups. Home building is a group that we've talked about for the last year. It looks exceedingly strong and could have some long legs in front of it also. Based
on your past picks and the upcoming top picks, it looks like you're more favorable to the U.S. than Canada generally.
Yeah, it's very hard to find ideas in the Canadian market right now. In fact, you know, in disclosure, in our global mandate, we've been short the Canadian market, and I think for good reason, because there's lots of global markets that are behaving much, much better.
David Burrows is here, President and Chief Investment Strategist at Barometer Capital Management. We're taking your questions on North American large caps at 1-855-326-6266. And as part of this particular program, our ACE Director, Kim McDermott's birthday is today. When you call in on the air, be sure to wish her a happy birthday.